Here produced a short report. There were three options in that report. One of them involved replacing the existing or upgrading the existing storm sewer to increase its capacity. This was an expensive option of $2 to $3 million. The second choice was install a parallel sewer along Mill Road at a cost of $1 to $1.5 million. This passes our house, which is at the corner of Mill and Earlington, an older house which is 70 years old. And this alternative is unacceptable to those who live on Mill Road and ourselves particularly. The third is overland relief. That is a modest swale in the area in which an underground pipe carries water across Mill Road. Dave Pannoni referenced three other possibilities. There are others besides those, and I do not accept the Pannoni report, Haverford Township report, because it's entirely superficial. It does not include details of the structures or of the individuals or of the homes which are affected. This has to be improved. So now I want to give you the conclusion. You can read the rest of it at your leisure. This report is constantly undergoing evolution. While the first options to achieve relief from rising waters, option 2, a parallel sewer in Mill Road, would be unacceptable to Mill Road residents because it would cause newly created amounts of water to intrude into and devastate those homes along Mill Road that are near the toe of the slope that falls from heights as far away as Brookline Boulevard, Kathmere Road, Strathmore Road, to Mill and beyond. Many or all of these homes would either have to renew or replace existing water intrusion systems and or augment those drainage systems already on their grounds and in their homes in order to cope with these new flows. That represents, for us, 25 years of work. Also, this reconstruction would likely be impossible to replace. Further, this would cause collection of groundwater into the newly excavated portion of Mill Road. This is the construction aspect, which would then flow underground, as it does now in loosened soil of Mill Road, to collect on Mill Road properties and go into their homes. It would create hydrostatic pressure on the foundations, which in our case is a rubble foundation built according to old construction guidelines of 70 years ago, which does not have either haunches, spread footings, or concrete beneath it. Some of those properties, such as the 414 and 412 Mill Road, the oldest homes on that road, are over 70 years old. Others, while more modern, 50 years, within the 116 acres of the Woodmere Park, are more modern, perhaps ranging to about 50 years
I'm sorry,
of age.
Dr. Levin, would you like your 3 minutes, your additional 3 minutes?
Yes,
I will
please.
put another 3 minutes there.
Opening and installing another relief storm sewer pipe in Mill Road would also have the effect of decreasing soil density by loosening it and increasing porosity, leading to the accumulation of water down gradient from Mill Road and Haverford High School on the west, and from Kathmere, Strathmore, and Wexford roads to the south, both above and below ground in the newly opened soil and gravel channels on Mill Road. Also, it would be expected that the large diameter below ground pipe that's proposed on Mill Road would be laid in ground in jointed sections that would settle unevenly and leak into the surrounding ground and gravel over time, creating its own new continuous water source, with channels to create an entirely new source of water intrusion into residences that would not be possible to correct. As empathetic as we are with the people who have experienced flooding problems, Mill Road residents resist and push back against others who would cause their water problems to become ours. I am sure they don't want it any more than I don't want to see their problems continue. We would take such actions, therefore, as would be necessary to prevent this from occurring. We ask the township engineer, Dave Pannoni, to revise that report. I would provide my cooperation as a professional who does this work and produces such reports. But the Mill Road collector is unacceptable. I don't think that the gradient is such that it would work. I think it would have to be extremely large. I think the excavation would be open for protracted periods of time, particularly during the summer when rainfall could be intense. Rainfall is not connected to global warming. It is not connected. There has been nothing that has been produced that says that it does, nor any aspect of weather. That is entirely conjectural. But summer afternoon storms, late afternoon and early evening are very common in this area, and that's the time when work would be conducted. We think Pannoni has to revise his report, and I will be prepared to provide cooperation. But the Mill Road collector is off the books as far as we're concerned. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next, Andrea Smith. Just give us your name and address.
Sure.
Thank you.
So my name is Andrea Smith, and I live at 102 Landiff Road here in Haverford Town. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight. My dear friend and neighbor Stacy is handing out some supplemental information about the topic that we're going to briefly discuss. It's in reference to 101 10B Road. Oh.
Beautiful house. Thank you.
If you can, that would be great. Thanks, yes, thanks.
Okay, sorry about that. Discuss 101 10B Road, which is under a agreement of sale to be sold possibly to a developer to be slated for destruction. And in its place would be two new homes, similar, if some of you may recall, to two homes on Park Road that were built, I believe, last year or the year before. And so in our neighborhood, there's been a great deal of opposition, and I don't think I'm over-exaggerating when I say there's been absolute outrage. We do have petitions going around just to get a temperature of the neighborhood, and I have to say we're getting very, very strong support. There's a great deal of opposition to this, and I wanted to bring it before everyone's attention. I know Mario is aware, and he's been kind enough to come out and see the property. But I also wanted to ask all of the commissioners, actually, I would like to invite you to please come to that corner. Don't just drive by. I'm sure many of you know where it's at. Please come by that corner. Please park your car and get out for a moment and feel the atmosphere there. Feel what that corner is like. There's three other beautiful, gracious homes there. It's a very unique corner in Havertown, and I think it's an excellent example. It's one of the nicest homes in Havertown, so it's very difficult for us to take. One of the main issues that I wanted to talk about personally are property values for myself. I live on Landiff Road, so I'm directly behind 101 10B. My yard and my neighbor's yard backs up to 101 10B, and for me, one of my concerns is I just bought my home a year ago. I just moved in exactly a year ago to October 16th, I believe. We signed on September 27th, and we had some electrical work done and painting, and we moved in. And I can be honest with you and say that I would not have purchased that home with my husband if I had known that this would be looming over my yard and my home. It is heartbreaking beyond words. I know it's different when you don't live there, but we live there, and I love old homes. I was originally born in Eastern Europe. I love everything that's old and antique related. So that's one of the reasons we bought our home, to help save this area and to upkeep this sort of look in that neighborhood. And so with this looming over my home, I'm actually have called real estate agents. There's two coming to visit me to give me an estimate of what my property would sell for today and what will it sell for if this home is looming over my backyard, because it changes the landscape very much, because according to the current plans, made by Rick Fuller and his, I would say, representative, John Ryan. One of the homes would come like this. So as my yard is here, one of the homes would come in an angle like this, Mario, correct me if I'm wrong, and the other home would, like this, would face 10B. So you've got one facing Bewley, which is here, road running next to it, and one facing, so one on 10B and one on Bewley. So it definitely would affect my property value, I believe. And also, it might be an issue that some of my neighbors would like to take up as well, where they feel their view is going to change because this corner is so prominent. Also, this area is historic. And so we've been able to research, and we actually found that someone of prominence has lived in this home. And his name is Dr. Walter D. Kallenbach, and he's actually the president and founder for the Society of Advancement for the Blind. And he's done some amazing things. If you'll look at page 3 and 4 of your supplement, it's just a very brief view of some of the things he's done. He was an incredible person, and it gives this home even more historic significance. And we just found this information, so we're still researching. But also, he still has books on Amazon, I believe 3 or 4 books that are still selling, and they were brought back into print because they found that it was of such cultural significance that they wanted to keep these in print. And he was also a doctor, he was a lecturer, he was a trumpeter. He actually went blind in an accident, and he continued to be an avid golfer, a bowler. He was really a pillar of the community, and he did a lot of work in Havertown. So I think bringing this home down goes beyond that, which leads into the other point that I'd like to make is there's large overarching issues here. It's not, can I have another 3 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. So there's large overarching issues here. It's not just about this home. It's not just about this corner, but it's about traffic and additional congestion. We already have a one-way street on Landiff. Sometimes people cut through from Route 1, from Darby, from Westchester Pike, because that area kind of is close to the culmination of those 3 roads. And so you're adding additional people into that area, and I think, that's going to make the enjoyment of our living there less. Because there's already plenty of people there. There's already, in the course of the last, I would say, 20 years, a lot of new homes in this, what's really, to me, old Lanark and a historic area. Also, my question to, really everyone is, when does it end? What point, when there's 5 homes left, when there's 10 homes left, what's our threshold? Not just here as the commissioners, or as a whole, as a community, what is our number that we're willing to give away, that we're willing to be okay with? Because that distinguishes us from other towns. It really makes us unique. If you go through that area, it's a wonderful area, and it really holds the old history of Havertown. So, there's a book that someone has brought on Haverford Township, which is really incredible and tells us how we started, and I think we're a part of that Philadelphia history. We add to that history as a whole. And so my question to everyone is kind of your takeaway is, what's our number in our mind that we're okay with when there's 10 left, 5, 7, 2? And that's something that I really would like everyone to think about, especially if you do come and stop by that corner of 10B and Bewley, and you get out and give it a second and really feel the atmosphere and see what we see and see what we would have to deal with. Also, they would like to sell these homes by spring. I don't know if that's official, but that's what we've been told. Therefore, during our holidays, there would be a lot of construction. And there's been so much construction in the Lanark neighborhoods in the year I've been there. And other people can touch on those topics. Also, I touched on it a little bit, but the perceptions of Havertown, what is our community like? Are we going to protect it? And the perceptions internally, but as well as externally. We want to give off this sense of that, yes, we do protect the gems in our neighborhoods, and we do protect things that have a historical significance. It is not currently a historical resource. I would like to work at the Historic Commission to see what happens to homes that have not been designated yet, but they show historical significance in their prominent homes and great examples of gracious living. So I would ask all of you to please stop by that corner and really take it in. I know the other commissioners are from other wards, but I would just respectfully ask you, please come by, and if you see me, stop me. I would love to talk to you and show you that neighborhood where my son and I walk all the time. He's 3 years old, and I want to give him this opportunity to be able to see these homes. And my friends and neighbors will talk on other larger overarching issues that affect all of us. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Okay. Regina Pfeiffer.
Good evening, everyone. Does that work?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, I can't hear well for myself. My name is Regina Pfeiffer, and I live at 11 East Langhorne Avenue. My husband and I own the property next door to the proposed Walgreens. I get asked about Walgreens everywhere I go. I think about it all the time. The appeal of the zoning board decision has yet to go to court, and I have no expectation that the issue will be resolved anytime soon. However, I am here tonight to talk about my experience of going through the zoning process, what I've observed, and the broader implications. I can't do that in 3 minutes, so I will begin and maybe return next month, maybe continue, depending on the thing. I wanted to start by thanking the township employees for helping me understand the basic concepts. I was very ignorant of what planning commissions and zoning hearing boards do, and I sincerely appreciate the assistance. First and foremost, I encourage everyone to become and stay informed. You can sign up with the township to receive email notification of all agendas and meeting dates for the planning commission and the zoning hearing board. Had I known a year ago, when Walgreens first appeared at the Planning Commission, I would have not felt blindsided last February when the zoning hearing sign was posted. The Walgreens experience was a rude awakening, not just for me, but for all of us. I raise my issues and hope that we can avoid similar situations in the future. To that end, I ask the commissioners to consider 4 things. 1, work to better inform the community on the meetings and roles, responsibilities of the Zoning Hearing Board and the Planning Commission. I ask you to do that by broadcasting the meetings on the cable channel so that we may all learn. 2, select Zoning Hearing Board and Planning Commission members who are the most highly skilled people possible. People in the relevant fields of architecture, civil engineering, management, project management, and land development. 3, revisit the zoning code by conducting a comprehensive review and by quickly addressing the weaknesses highlighted by the Walgreens plan. 4, recognize that there is a problem with the certified mail delivery and provide additional regular mail delivery to immediate neighbors of properties involved in requests for zoning variances. I would like to address each of these items. When I attended the zoning hearing board meetings, the 3 meetings on the Walgreens variances, I felt that my lawyer and my husband and I were treated very respectfully. Otherwise, I did not sense a whole lot of respect in the room. It seemed to me that the zoning hearing board members felt disrespected. Is that my 3?
That's your 3.
May I continue?
You can continue for a moment.
Burdened, I'll repeat. It seemed to me that the zoning hearing board members felt disrespected and burdened by having to listen to public comment, much of which was legally irrelevant and occasionally yelled out. I get that. I understand that. However, the members of the audience also felt disrespected, sometimes belittled and unfairly subjected to repeated punitive recesses or timeouts. Everyone was frustrated. It doesn't need to be that way. Put the meetings on TV. Let people become informed about the process, the legalities, and the expected behaviors. The Planning Commission, too. Separately from the comprehensive plan and the property rights issues involved in the Walgreens proposal, it was clear that the design was ill-conceived. I brought the design to local architects and civil engineers who explained to me why the design was so flawed. There are several architects and engineers within walking distance of where we sit, plenty more in the township. These are the people I want to see advising the commissioners, framing the issues, and determining our future. What distressed me particularly, there were many things, but what distressed me about the design of the plan and what was told to me was that our code now requires only 16 feet to back up from a straight head-in thing, straight head-in parking. That is sufficient only for diagonal parking. The minimal accepted is 18 feet. The industry recommended is 20 to 22 feet. Also, right now, we have no regulations, or virtually no regulations, on drive-throughs, with the exception of food. If this had been a Walgreens proposed next door to me, they would never be allowed to shine the lights through my windows. They would never be allowed to set up so close to a residential property. We need to revisit the rules regarding drive-throughs in this township. Also, there are a lot of other things, but those are the ones that immediately, had we seen to look at it differently, this thing would never have progressed this far.
Going to have to ask you to wrap up.
Okay, one more thing.
Go ahead.
3 of us never received our certified mail letters regarding this proposal. The problem is that there isn't enough time in a lot of circumstances. I was away, I came back, and I discovered that the sign was posted on the building next door. I came to the township building and I said, shouldn't I have gotten a certified letter? They said, yeah, we sent you one. I went to the post office. The post office said, we delivered this. We attempted to deliver it on Saturday. Nobody was there. Well, they did or they didn't. There was never a sticker. This was the following Thursday. I spoke to the postmistress. This postmistress said to me, we have 15 days to make a second delivery of certified mail. 15 days for a second delivery, and the hearings are over. 3 of us, because these were delivered on weekends, never received the initial notification. So, I recognize there are some legalities in how you have to deliver issues in the certified mail, but it doesn't always work, particularly in a bad delivery area like the commercial district and the surrounding residential areas. So please consider additional first-class regular delivery for these situations. Thank you.
Stacy O'Leary. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. We're running.
I will. Mine is 1 page.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Popular.
Hello, my name is Stacy O'Leary, and I live at 109 Tenby Road. I want to thank the Planning Commission today for allowing me to voice my opinion about the pending sale and destruction of 101 Tenby and its impact on the Lanark community regarding schools. School overcrowding, as you know, nationwide is a huge problem. Chatham Park has 4 fifth grades. We are very, very concerned about how this is going to impact the elementary school if they build 2 homes where there was 1, if they have multiple children that are going to need to go to the public schools. We have families, just so you know, we have families dying to get into Lanark and the surrounding neighborhoods because of Chatham Park. So we're thrilled that we have a great school there. It's an excellent elementary school and attracts some of the best high-quality teachers, so much so that the very best teachers are competing with each other to get a job at Chatham. If we keep up the practice of taking current single family home lots and subdividing them into double home lots and adding multiple families where there was 1, we are at risk of putting undue pressure on this wonderful school and potentially overcrowding it, which would lead to teachers not wanting to teach in classrooms that have 30 more pupils. The middle school grades average about 420 to 470 per grade, with class sizes nearing 30 pupils per class in some of the classes. It does not have as good reputation as the elementary school. My kids one child just finished it and one's currently in it, and I could tell you plenty of their friends have taken their children out of the middle school in favor of smaller private schools for these kinds of issues. The quality of schools will become challenged. currently, I don't know if everyone's aware, but we're 8th in the state. The Haverford School District is 8th in the state in being recognized statewide as a school district, which is extraordinary. It's wonderful. We're so proud of it. But this is something that can easily be taken away. The erosion may be slow now, but it's still there, and it will have effects on our community as a whole. And we have to maintain the quality of our schools. It brings in high-quality people as well. For children just approaching school age in the next couple of years, what is this going to start to look like? It has direct impact on home sales and additional tax revenue for the township. Overall, I just want to say personally, we've been very happy in our decision to move here 12 years ago from Philadelphia. That's a school district that is in desperate need of help. We have an excellent school district in Havertown. We found this to be a very desirable neighborhood, and we came here for the schools and the character of the homes. Not to mention that raising our children in a home with such unique character, our home is over 100 years old, is having them part of a living history. We believe that saving 101 Tenby is vital to our family and all the Lanark families in Havertown as a whole. No neighbor I've spoken to has expressed anything but absolute horror, disgust, and dismay at this threat to our neighborhood and our community. I just ask the commissioners to delay the transfer of ownership of 101 Tenby until all these issues can be carefully examined. Thank you so much for hearing my concerns.
How can we delay that?
Thank you very much. That's the end of the, I'm sorry, that's the end of the registered speakers. We will now begin the agenda, on agenda items only. This is anything that's on the agenda. If it's not on the agenda, you can't speak about it, okay? So we'll start on this row. Anyone, second row? Third row? Fourth row? Over here? First row? Second row? Third row? And the fourth row. Okay, there being nobody, we can,
Property. Is this a part of that property? Is that a part of the property?
Woodmere Park.
it is on the agenda?
Yeah.
You can speak.
Okay, so the,
Wait a second.
It's a resolution for the meeting. Close enough.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners, and I just wanted to address Dr. Levin's issue earlier.
Your name and address?
Oh, Diane Heller, Ridgeway Road. No insult to your intelligence, but if you have such great ideas and this is what you do for a living, I think that maybe you should present an idea as a solution to this problem. I think Mr. Pannoni and all the other commissioners are well aware of the situation, and I just find that it was insulting to all of us to try to not have us see our situation be taken care of once and for all. So thank you.
the two in the, Mario, they
Okay,
didn't do
you've had
the
you
Woodmere.
had 6 minutes to speak.
No, in the back row,
allow you.
Mario.
I know that.
You can do it at the end of the meeting.
Challenge, and I want to.
You can at the end of the meeting you can
Yeah,
rebuttal.
you know what it's like to be
The
challenged.
two people behind Dr. Leving.
I understand. In the
Yeah.
second row.
Murderers, remember?
Go ahead. Second row?
Karen, come on.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Karen Minnis. I live at Woodmere Way, and we have been residents there, my husband and I and family, for 19 years. And our problem started 10 years ago, and most of the commissioners, board members, Larry Holmes, Mr. Pannoni, Larry Gentili, are all aware of pictures, emails, phone calls, letters, everything.
Yeah, we all
okay?
are.
Everything. I want to say, Dr. Levine, I have to agree with Diane. 10 years ago, we were visiting my family, and we had 7 feet of water in our basement, and if we had cars in the driveway, we would have lost cars. We've lost cars in our driveway 2 times since then in the past 10 years. We've been water up to here, our son disabled at our home. We can't go to bed at night when there is rain that's going to be heavy. It is horrific, upsetting, horrible. We love our homes in our neighborhood. We want to be able to sell our homes someday, and this is unacceptable. And there has been many proposals here that we hope and pray will definitely help in the situation, because it definitely has to be taken care of. And we don't have 1 inch of water. We have feet, up to here. Disgusting, horrible. We have, I don't know what to tell you, but something has to be done, and we've had so many different meetings about it, and I didn't bring anything prepared, but I just want to say I second Diane, and I hope and pray that something will be done, because it's been horrible. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Ma'am?
Hi, Tina Littlewood at 1607 Woodmere Way. I agree with Diane and Karen, and we've spoken before, and just to give maybe some others here a little bit of background in case they're wondering what are you guys talking about. There's a problem with water drainage on Woodmere and Mill Road. We've discussed it at many meetings, and we have professional engineers have already established that there is a gap and have found several solutions to the problem. It does cost money. And I have faith in the solutions of a professional here who I doubt that the township would want to create another issue downstream. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to us. It doesn't make any sense for them to approve that. So I think that, just to, again, a little bit of background on it is when we have heavy rains, we've had situations where the water just does not, there's nowhere for it to go. It's just coming down this road and that road. We don't live at the stream. We don't live at a creek. We don't have a lake or a pond nearby. We just don't have enough. We've already discussed it. We've seen the pipes. We know there's a problem in the infrastructure. There's nowhere for it to go when it comes down at 3 inches an hour. So we've had situations where, like, my husband had a Dodge pickup, like not a small car, like a pickup truck. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, the neighbors are banging the door saying, you got to come out here. We just moved in 7 years ago, so we had no idea that this was possible. And somebody's banging on the door. I was 8 months pregnant. Now my son is 3, and we're still dealing with the situation. And I had a 9-month-old, or no, she was a 1.5 years at the time, sleeping, and we both ran outside, and his truck is virtually underwater, pickup truck. It was totaled. We live on a regular street, so you can see this is like a big problem. Every time it rains, we're looking out the window. I can't sleep at night. When we go on vacation, we can't leave our cars at home, so it also makes it look like the house is empty, and we're not there, and we have to find somewhere to leave our cars. So it's a big issue. It's a big problem, and the last thing that I would want is for anyone to deal with this. I would not want anyone else on Mill Road to deal with this. There has to be a solution that would not be pushing it to someone else, and I think that's what Dave Pannoni has suggested. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but I highly doubt that the commissioners or that the engineers would propose something that would be pushing the problem elsewhere, because then they're going to have the same people from that road showing up every meeting like we do for a year to talk about it. So thank you very much for your time.
Anyone else like to speak on this side? After the meeting is over, I gave you 6. That's enough.
What?
Nope. You can speak after.
No.
Not to be taken as gospel. You understand me?
Mario,
Do you have to have you removed from the meeting? All right.
Mario, can I
Let's
just?
Jim, thank you.
What? No.
We'll move on.
No.
On 10110B.
Yes.
Can Can you speak to the historical significance of that home?
Yeah, I could probably speak to a couple different things that came up with respect to that 101 Tenby, and it was good to see a lot of the neighbors come out and talk about it because it's at an early phase. We heard Mrs. Pfeiffer, I believe it was, speak about the different types of meetings that take place before there is a development of a house, and there are different meetings that take place. There are different boards and agencies that the township has that you should be familiar with in addition to this board. One of them being the Historic Commission, so you might want to pursue anything that you have with the Historic Commission. There's also a Planning Commission, which will have to hear this if an application is made. There's also a Delaware County Planning Commission, which will also hear this presumably if there is a subdivision application made. There have been no plans filed yet. One of the things that's a little bit delicate for this board is ultimately when there is a subdivision or land development type application, this board becomes like a quasi-judicial panel, and they have to make an ultimate decision after everything goes to all these advisory boards. So at this point, it's hard for these board members to make any kind of comments back to you, which is why I'm addressing you, because we can't have these board members prejudiced one way or another. They have to be independent when they hear the case. But you should definitely go to the Planning Commission meetings, make your voices heard, learn what the application